Hello and welcome to this bonus episode of the Gazette's Hockey Inside Out Show. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette, and I'm joined by former Canadiens defenseman, assistant coach, 1986 Stanley Cup champion Rick Green, and my longtime Gazette colleague and friend Jack Todd. Jack, there's been quite a huge drop in offensive production from the Canadiens' fourth line of Jake Evans, Joel Armia, and Emil Heineman. After the 6-1 loss to St. Louis on Tuesday, Evans had gone 10 games without a goal and had only one goal in the last 23 games. Armia had gone 7 games without a goal and had one in the last 16 games, while Heineman had no goals and 1 assist in 14 games since getting hit by a car in Utah and sitting out for a little while. How concerned are you with the drop-off in production on this line?
Well, yeah, I had really noticed it without even looking at the figures. And it did seem to start with that car hitting Heineman in Utah, which I still can't figure out how it happened in a town as dead as Salt Lake. But it really, Heineman, since he came back, he's been okay, but he hasn't been the player he was before. Like he's not driving the play, you know, you're not aware that he's out there all the time. Like he was dangerous. He was up there in the top 4 or 5 rookie scorers in the league. And Evans, maybe he got contractitis, and after he signed the deal, the pressure was too much. And I've heard it reported, whether it's true or not, I don't know, but that Armia is dealing with the wrist injury, which has made him reluctant to shoot, which, you know, doesn't help your whole line offensively, because if he isn't shooting, the rebounds aren't there, a lot of things. But it's been very noticeable. Everybody knows the second line problems the Canadiens have had. So if you're a 2-line team with your first and third lines generating all the offense, it's going to hurt, especially at a place like this where every game and every point is a dogfight. You need everybody there. And the fourth line, which was a real strength, I think, the first half of the season is kind of a weakness right now. Defensively, I think they've been okay. It's at the other end of the ice that they haven't been able to get anything going.
And with Heineman, it was a hand or wrist injury also, and he seems more reluctant to shoot the puck also. Rick, watching them, what's concerned you or not?
Well, I'm not overly concerned. I mean, anytime you can take a so-called fourth line, and they've contributed as a group 33 goals amongst them, you know, usually the fourth line is one that you use in a penalty killing, checking role, very good defensively. And this is what really these guys do. And if you can luck out and get those so-called fourth line guys to chip in goals here and there, which they're going to need to do, and find a way to, you know, to get these guys to get a goal here and there, it's going to allow them the opportunity to win some hockey games. But, you know, as far as worried about the drop off in the production, not a big thing. I think that they're the group that are pigeoned into a defensive position or defensive role. Let them worry about that. Let them kill the penalties effectively, and they'll chip in a goal here or there because they did that in the past, and it'll come back to them. And they know what they have to do. And injuries, I'm not sure about the injury situation. If they do have some things that are hurting, like a lot of guys, but not a worry at this point.
Well, Armia and Evans, you're right. I mean, still keys on the penalty kill. Marty still likes that line. He starts most games with them on the ice to try and sort of set the tone. You know, Jack, you mentioned the contractitis, I think it was earlier. Is there any thought that maybe Kent Hughes might have made a mistake by signing Evans to that 4-year, $11.4 million contract extension?
To me, I don't think so. I think he'll be fine, you know, and it's a temporary blip or whatever. Hughes had to know going in. Historically, he's not a 25-goal-a-year guy. He's not going to be, no matter what this season looked like. So I think he's probably okay with that. At the same time, I think Evans maybe is feeling a bit of pressure, like, oh, I got the deal I wanted, I have to come through. And like if both of his wingers are injured, it doesn't help. No, I don't think there's too much. I'm sure it's occurred to people, but Hughes had to know that it wasn't going to carry on like it was with Evans.
And before the scoring slump, the last 23 games that Evans has been, he had scored 5 goals in 5 games, right? He was on a roll.
Yeah,
but you're right. I mean, now Jake Evans is who Jake Evans is, right, Rick? I mean, he's been around the league long enough. And kudos to Kent Hughes that he wasn't willing to overpay, right? He wasn't. He realized that he knows who Jake Evans is, and he made him what I think is a very fair contract offer for a fourth liner. And for Evans, right now he's probably saying, I'm glad I signed my contract when I did and didn't go to free agency. It seems like Hughes
I think that whole thing is the key to Hughes' success. He knows exactly to the penny what he'll pay any player, and he's able to tailor it to fit what they need from his experience and I think he goes into trades the same way. If I get X, Y, and Z, I'll deal so-and-so. If I don't, I won't. And it's, he doesn't go in. I've been in business negotiations and stuff. And you can tell when somebody comes in and they're just kind of taking a flyer. No, I want $250,000 for this when it's worth $100. I'm sure he doesn't go in that way. He says, "This is my price, and that's the price, and it's not going to change." And it makes him really, really effective. I think it's the whole key to his success is knowing what you want before you go into the deal, whether it's a trade or a contract.
He did that with Slafkovsky and Caulfield too, when he said, "I'm not paying you more than Nick Suzuki." Right? That's
and Slafkovsky once his contract, there was a big concern. Whoa, what happened to him? All of a sudden, he's got this contract for the future, and he's not making it happen. But Jake Evans, they gave him what he was worth. He deserved it. They locked him up for that term, and he wanted to be part of the organization, and took away that as a distraction at that particular time. That he had his heart in the right place, and you have to. Ken Hughes wants to make sure that he wants to keep that family feel, if you will, in the dressing room, and Jake Evans was part of that family feel and took care of it, and one less thing to deal with future-wise.
But you're right, Jack. I mean, when you say he sets his price or whatever, but he also treats people properly. Like Jake Evans said afterwards, like, Kent was great through this. He gave me different options, like I guess 2 years, 3 years, whatever, juggling here and there. And then kudos to Jake Evans too. It's sort of refreshing. At the end, he said, money isn't everything, right?
Yeah,
he said, I'm happy here. My wife's happy here. He had his whole apartment packed up, figuring they were moving and getting traded. And they looked at each other and like, what are we doing? Like, we'd like it here for an extra $500,000 a year or something. And I think not just Jack, the way he's been able to set limits for contracts, Kent Hughes, but just the way he treats people compared to Marc Bergevin, where everything seemed to get personal and end ugly. And I think that's huge also, no?
Yeah, I think it actually saves dollars and cents. The fact that people like this guy, they know he's honest with them. They know he's working to get something that fits for the club, but he knows how to tailor it to fit you as well. And that there are factors that come in. That free agency to me is like a loaded gun because it can go the wrong way really badly. All of a sudden you're in a strange town, strange teammates. You don't know what kind of chemistry you've got in the room, and you're burdened with this $25 million contract, which means they expect X amount of production out of you. And some guys are fine with it, and some all of a sudden it's no fun anymore,
Now, well, at the end of the day, I think it was a fair deal for both sides, and they move on. Anyway, that's it for this Hockey Inside Out Show bonus episode. I hope you all enjoyed it out there. Please like and subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel. Go to MontrealGazette.com/newsletters to sign up for the Hockey Inside Out newsletter. And, of course, go to HockeyInsideOut.com where you'll get all the latest Canadiens news every day. And if you have a bonus question you'd like us to answer in an upcoming bonus episode, please put it in the comment section below.